It's 8 o'clock.
You know what that means.
Time to stream. Time to get ready. Time for a voyage.
Time for a voyage on the media boat. Oh, by the way, so I was listening to something today, and they're talking about like
you were listening to something?
Yeah, how it was pretty much impossible to get the .com domain these days, and I'm like just giggling to myself, it's like, yeah, we got one.
A really long one.
We got top level .com domain. Sure, it's long.
Sure,
it doesn't really make sense.
Sure, it's unique. It's unique to us.
Yeah, but that's fine. In fact, that's better. We have a brand because of it.
We've been branded?
We've been branded. So, right. It's exciting. So, let's get this started.
So, when we get to the... let's start Audacity. Let's start recording, because we just told everyone that we are now live. Thanks to the Hootsuite.
Too sweet.
Too sweet. All right, so let's get recording.
Yeah, we'll finish what you were saying.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to everyone. Hello.
Welcome to the Media Boat Podcast. Today is May the 2nd, 2018. We're in May.
We are in May.
It's not going to be May. It is May.
Yes.
This is episode 121 of the Media Boat Podcast. Thank you for joining us if you're watching live on YouTube or if you're listening to our audio version. Regardless, if you're a return listener or a first-time listener, the Media Boat Podcast is your source for news about movies, television, video games, and music. Not necessarily in that order. We also talk about things we've enjoyed to let you know, or hated, to let you know what we thought about them. My name is Matt. His name is Mike.
I'm Mike. He's Matt. We are going to be inundating you with some international topics, actually.
I don't know what that word was, but yes.
Inundating?
Yes, there we go. That's better.
What do you think I said?
I heard inundating, and I was like, what's inundating?
Indoctrinating.
Yes, we're going to indoctrinate you over the podcast airwaves here.
Yeah, no, we have some international news that affects video games, but before we get to all of that,
yes,
there was something that happened this past weekend.
What happened this past weekend?
Well, it was quite a historic event, as box office was movie theaters were overrun with people.
I wonder why that would have been.
Yeah, weird. That never happens. Maybe once every 3 years now, or so.
Something like that. So in case you didn't know, we start the podcast as always with the box office numbers for the movie industry over the past weekend. And this was the weekend that the movie industry was waiting for, because we have a new king of the opening weekend.
Yeah. So, for the longest time, 15 years? It was Titanic?
It was always Titanic.
It was always Titanic.
And it was Avatar.
Everyone compared themselves to Titanic.
Yeah.
Then 2009 came and everyone compared themselves to Avatar.
But then, The Force Awakens, right?
I think Avengers, actually.
Oh, okay.
I think in 2012 it was the Avengers. And then 2015, literally 3 years later, it was The Force Awakens. And now, 3 years later...
So, all this preamble is, of course, talking about Avengers Infinity War, the third Avengers film, and the brand newest Marvel film in theaters now.
Number 19 in the MCU.
Number 19 in the Marvel series, but number 1 in our hearts.
Number 1 in the box office.
That was a joke.
Yes.
Thank you. But also, number 1 in the box office this weekend, as predicted. But man, we were off by probably $17 million. We had our 240, I think, and you took the over?
I think I took the over just because I wanted to see it get that record. Didn't know if it could.
Well, it did. 257 is the final number here. 257 million domestic dollars, which is pretty insane.
We'll get to insane how that is.
So we'll be talking about Infinity War a little later. But before we get to that,
let's get to the rest of
your top 5.
Do we call it top 5? Because Avengers itself could have taken day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4.
Yeah, you're right. But we should give at least some play to the other films.
So this weekend's participation awards
exactly.
goes out to
our blue ribbons. Number 2 is A Quiet Place with a respectable another $11 million.
It hit double digits on an Avengers weekend?
It did. Number 3 is I Feel Pretty after its last week debut with another $8 million. Rampage is your number 4, popping back into that top 5 in the big action movie weekend with $7 million. And lastly, get this, Marvel Mayhem has brought Black Panther back into the top 5.
Oh, yeah.
Number 5 with another $4 million to add to its $688 million worldwide total. Or is that just domestic?
That is just domestic.
That's just domestic.
I'd only include domestic in those.
That's insane. So, it'll creep towards 7 domestic, which is insane.
Yeah, $700 million. $700 million.
$700 million.
Domestically.
Let's be clear.
But let's be clear. That may seem like a lot, but The Avengers is already on pace.
Yes.
To cross that.
Beat that. So yeah, pretty impressive numbers if you're Marvel. But if you're not Marvel, you have a movie coming out this weekend. This weekend we have 3 new releases. And I'm not familiar with any of them, so I'm going to have to lean on your knowledge here. First up is something called Bad Samaritan.
This is a horror film.
Okay.
That's all I know about it.
Sounded like a comedy, so I'm glad you told me that. I imagined a bad Santa, bad teacher kind of
That's what I thought too.
But no, apparently
it's a horror. It's a horror film.
It's a real bad Samaritan.
The fact that I don't know much about this, but it is the largest opening weekend this weekend with 1,800 theaters.
Wow, really?
Compared to everything else. Yeah.
That's sad.
I don't know what it is.
Next up is Overboard.
Yes. This is the Anna Faris.
Which is a remake.
Yes, this is a remake.
Yes.
Starring Anna Faris and the Mexican guy. The good-looking Mexican.
Wow. You don't even know who you're talking about?
It's not even really Iglesias.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know anything about this movie besides the fact that it's a remake. And I think Cher was in it? No, Goldie Hawn.
I don't know.
I think Goldie Hawn was the Anna Faris part.
So Anna Faris...
Which Anna Faris is really our modern-day Goldie Hawn when you think about it.
I don't like to think about that.
Why not?
Because it means I have to think a lot about Goldie Hawn.
They're similar in a lot of ways. Yeah. Oh, come on. 60s Goldie Hawn?
Yeah.
No?
No?
Okay. Alright. No. Watch an episode of Laugh In. Anyways.
I'll tune out.
Sorry, guys. I'm 28 years old. I am not ancient. I know I'm sounding yourself. Like it.
This is the part where you date yourself, Matt.
The whole podcast is the part where I date myself.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the Anna Faris is a cleaning lady who discovers the rich guy who has amnesia and claims to be his wife. Comedy ensues until he eventually figures out who he is. And then does he still love her?
Right.
Probably because it's Anna Faris and she gets the happy endings.
Yeah, she's Anna Faris.
She's Anna Faris.
But yeah, so there. And lastly, something called Tully, which I think I actually did see the trailer for this.
I think you did.
Is this
is
the
new Diablo Cody.
Diablo Cody joint? Okay, so screenwriter Diablo Cody, mostly famous for Juno, also wrote films such as Jennifer's Body and Young Adult. I guess this is her new script. This stars Charlize Theron? Right?
Yes, Charlize Theron. And some other blonde.
Some other blonde, got it.
As her nanny, nanny, I guess.
Is there a surprise Patton Oswalt? I know
Probably.
That she likes writing Patton Oswalt characters.
Probably. Okay. I won't be surprised.
We'll see.
We'll see.
So those are your new releases. Yeah. 3 very, very different things.
But just to be safe, Avengers going to steamroll over all these. These are the 3 films that took the Avengers slot. Once it moved up a week.
Right.
And as you can clearly see, the cream of the crop.
Hey, now that you've explained each one, I'm like, okay, now I know what these are.
They're counter-programmings.
They are.
We don't know where to stick this.
Yeah.
So, might as well put it right after the Avengers.
But, speaking of, is this when we want to talk about it?
Oh,
Let's talk about
yes. So I already put our graphic up. But
so we both saw Avengers Infinity War finally. I know, that sounds ridiculous because most regular people do not need to see something opening weekend. But for some reason, we have this gravitational pull towards movies when they're new, especially you.
I have a tendency to see movies, especially of this scale and magnitude, of the Marvel genre, opening night. Not opening night. The Thursday before opening night.
But here's the thing. Now we have extra pressure because we are now in an office, and both of us work together now. I should probably update podcast audience here.
Don't need to.
No. But yeah, and we now work in an office where we are basically like put into a spoiler-free ghetto if we don't see the new thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this affects me because I'm the kind of person who's like, I can wait a month to see the new thing.
No.
I don't need to see it right away. But these guys, they'll be like, no, you need to see it on X day because we're going to start talking about it. And I'm like, well...
And normally I would be with that. I would enjoy them. But this past weekend just happened to be Stagecoach weekend. And we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later.
But yeah, so we finally saw it, but we saw it last night. And, wow, where do we even begin? This movie...
Let's begin with that fact that this thing is 10 years in the making.
And let's also begin with... Spoiler alert. There is no way to talk about this movie without spoiling it, so I'm very, very sorry. But if you're like us, and you were 2 days ago, and you still haven't seen the...
Which, by the way... Thank you, Internet, for not really spoiling that much.
Yeah, thank you, Internet.
Thank you, Internet.
But yeah, I would love to do a spoiler-free kind of rundown here, but I feel like we just can't. This is a movie where enough pivotal things happen, kind of like Last Jedi, that in order to talk about it at all, I feel like we have to do a spoiler part.
I can give you a spoiler-free review of this.
Okay, fine. How about let's get the spoiler-free...
And then they'll do a 5-minute burn.
And then we'll let you know to stop listening.
Yeah.
So what's your spoiler-free take?
Spoiler-free take is on the scale of the Planet Media Boat scale. Go see this. All right, now we can get to our spoiler territory.
Okay.
No, that's not. That's the short, sweet version. Is you got to see this film. Okay. Even if you're not if you're not inundated in the Marvel fan base, there's enough going on in this film to make you care for these characters.
Yeah.
If you have not watched a lot of what's been happening, what's been leading up to this, there's still enough of a basis going into each scene, each introduction of each group. They're like little groups technically, that it gives you a sense immediately of who these characters are, what they can do, and how much of a badass the Thanos is. Mm-hmm. Thanos.
Yeah.
It does a real good job of that. I mean, really understand. I mean, I'm like hands down applauding the writers of this because they have to assume you're not going to see all of these. Big one, though, is Thor. If you didn't see Thor Ragnarok, you're kind of at a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It requires some knowledge about some of the prior Marvel movies, but none more than probably Thor Ragnarok.
Probably Captain America Civil War and Thor Ragnarok. Those are the two big ones.
Well, I mean, Civil War makes sense because it's the unofficial... Avengers.
Yeah, it's Avengers 2.5.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's. I know it's credited as a Captain America movie, but no, it's so important to what's happening with the Avengers as a team that without it, you would be missing a piece of the puzzle. You're right.
Right.
But yeah, now we have to start. I think we now have to start talking about spoilers.
Well, okay. So Thanos has been built up, and he delivers.
For sure.
For sure, he delivers. The team-ups that they create through this deliver. The comedic delivery delivers.
Yeah.
As well as the action sequences deliver. Although you have your gripes.
I've talked on this podcast before about my feelings about shaky cam in fight scenes. This movie has that problem, although not as much as... we recently watched Winter Soldier. Not as much as Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But it seems like the Russo brothers are getting a little better about letting the shots letting you see what's happening in those scenes. Mm-hmm. Because the shake cam, when it happens, is just so hard to follow that it takes me out of it. I start thinking about the shaky cam instead of thinking about, man, this is a brutal fight sequence. it takes me out of it. Kind of like the slow motion stuff in Wonder Woman. Same thing. We're just like, no, I don't want this. Just makes me think about the artifice of it instead of the actual content. But anyways, besides that, yeah, I thought that stuff was all really good.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of in terms of negatives. It's really hard.
It's long. Also, it feels like
long.
It feels like it's 16 movies.
It's 2.5 hours long, and it seems like there's 3 different plot lines all trying to converge on the same thing.
So yeah, when you have so many characters, it's pretty much impossible to have have 3 plots going at once.
Yeah.
And this movie does have that problem. So there is some moments where you do ask yourself, wait, where am I again? Wait, who's where? Who's with who? Is this, when are they going to meet with each other? Are they ever going to meet with each other? There's some questions like that. There's
also some questions of, in terms of the Marvel Universe of, well, what does this character know? Are they not updated with all this?
Yeah.
They don't know anything about this that's going on either.
Right. Who's aware of what part? Even though the villain makes his way through all of your heroes at some point. But yeah. So, I mean, as you kind of said before, I think the stakes actually mattered here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were all told going in that this was the one that was going to matter. There were going to be final deaths. This was going to be the one that were no, some people won't make it out of this alive. And so going in, we knew that there was going to be some sort of, higher stakes. But I did not expect the stakes to be this high. They set up Thanos as incredibly powerful, and they set it up where you're convinced that maybe the heroes won't win today. And yeah, the movie does a pretty good job of keeping you on that edge throughout.
And I think this is a good way to go right into our spoiler territory.
Yeah, okay.
Because there's a lot to go through. Starting with the villain.
So yeah.
So this is your official warning. Spoiler.
Clap. This is where the spoilers begin. I know you're probably not looking at waveforms when you're listening to a podcast, so that means nothing to you. But yeah, tune back in about, 5 more minutes.
Give me 5 minutes. I can run through this thing in 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes.
5 minutes of spoiler.
First
Ready?
of all.
And
now.
Go.
So, yes, people do die in this movie.
Yes.
Yes,
Thanos does collect all the Infinity Stones. Some people were actually worried that he would not get the Soul Stone. Turns out that would be the biggest event in this thing. Not only do we see the death of Gamora, but we see the return of Red Skull. Super spoiler right there.
Yeah, Red Skull is up there, apparently.
Yes.
I had to learn who Red Skull was this weekend.
Yes, if you had skipped on Captain America Civil War, him appearing means nothing to you.
No, not even Civil War, the first Captain America.
Yes, Captain America, the first Avenger.
Yeah, which I've not seen.
Right.
But yeah, not only that, but yeah, people that have mattered throughout especially the Avengers trilogy, but also the Marvel Universe as a whole, like Loki, are now officially canon dead. Yes, I know, Loki died before. Yes, I understand, but he died before. I'm using air quotes.
Yes, he's
this time
dead.
You see his lifeless body. It's definitely dead.
Yes,
he's definitely dead.
He dies. Heimdall
Gamora
dies.
Probably dies.
Gamora.
As far as I know. I mean, falls are give or take.
Right.
But she fell a long way, and Thanos kind of threw her down, so there's probably no way she's getting back up.
Yeah.
So,
let's see, what else happened? What I love is right in the beginning, they got rid of the Superman problem.
Yes.
The fact of, instead of what happened with Justice League, where you're basically waiting for Superman to come up and save the day, they get rid of that problem in the beginning by having Thor get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
I mean, not only Thor, but the Hulk.
Yes.
Unstoppable Hulk gets his ass kicked in the beginning.
Which goes back to what I was talking about the stakes being high throughout. Every single fight sequence you think is going to go well for our heroes goes super badly. Nobody succeeds in this movie. Even Thor at the very, very end, he looks like he gets a killing blow into Thanos and you think it's over. He even fails at that. And so you even have over and over again, basically the rug being pulled out from under you.
Yes, even when they have Thanos all tied up and he's gonna get the gauntlet off, then Peter Quill comes in and just starts slapping him silly.
Right. Because and that goes into another thing I wanted to talk about, which is not only does this movie deliver on stakes, it delivers on characterization in a way that the Marvel movies don't typically do.
Halfway there.
Yeah. So So yeah, that scene is key because Chris Pratt's character, is kind of a goofy guy. He's never taken really that seriously, and presumably in both Guardians. I have not seen the second Guardians.
No, he's not.
He's a goofy, comic reliefy character.
He's Chris Pratt.
Has moments of seriousness, but really, generally speaking, he's not that serious and deep of a character. This movie changes that, basically using Gamora's death as kind of like
a catalyst.
A catalyst for him to actually show real emotion. He is pissed when he finds out. And so that moment of like real like emotion completely ruins the Avengers' plan and like basically sets them all to be doomed.
Right. Not only that, but just Gamora's death in itself is a big event because it shows a humanization of Thanos in that he actually loves something.
Yes.
Yes. It shows depth to a character.
It also shows...
which is great for a villain.
Right. It's what you need for a villain, because if that didn't happen, then you wouldn't care about the whole Thanos arc. But because he has an arc, it's like, oh, okay, so this actually has some stakes for him in it, too.
Right.
This matters now to your villain, and if something matters to your villain, then you're going to care more about the dynamic between the villain and
Last minute, anything else you want to get
in? Last minute, I want to bring one more thing that I was shocked that I actually appreciated. I thought the shtick between Scarlet Witch and Vision was going to be super cheesy and dumb. But you actually care. It totally works.
Even though it's like a 5-minute, like sped up romance novel.
It is.
It feels. It's got feels in it, and then immediately you get right into the fight. You get right into the stakes, and you get right into immediately knowing, wait, Vision is eventually going to die in this thing.
And he totally does.
And he totally does. And Scarlet Witch has it. Everyone like points at her. You can do this. You have to the power. You literally have the power.
And she almost does.
And she does it. She does it.
Yeah.
But MacGuffin Time Stone.
Freaking Time Stone.
All right, and with 15 seconds left,
the last thing I want to say is not a spoiler at all. Man, Scarlet Witch is hot.
Elizabeth Olsen?
Yeah, I didn't realize that before. Sorry. Anyways,
yeah. And so, just to wrap it all up, see Thor Ragnarok before you see this film. Please do. It's not only is it a great film, but it's an immediate setup into Infinity War. Even though Black Panther was a film that came out before it.
Not required.
Not required.
Basically, all you need to know from Black Panther is that
Wakanda exists now.
Wakanda exists. It's open to people, for sort of, and that he's like in more of a commander.
And time, but we have some chat to come on.
All right, what do we got?
All right, hi guys, can't wait for your Stagecoach review. Stagecoach better than Avengers. We will get to that when we get to music. We have some festival news to talk about. So what you're telling me is that I have to watch another Chris Hemsworth movie before I watch the new Avengers.
Oh, poor you.
Oh, boo-hoo. I have to watch Thor Ragnarok.
In fact, you'll appreciate some of the commentary about Chris Hemsworth in this movie. It's very funny.
Yes. So some rabbit jokes.
Some characters become very into his physical appearance.
Yes.
That you wouldn't expect.
But you would appreciate.
But it's great.
That awkward moment when a big spoiler literally sounds like a different language, so it's not actually a spoiler.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I had that talk too with some people that if you don't know it's a spoiler, is it really a spoiler?
That's true.
And then this literally sounds like the most confusing movie I've ever heard of.
So yeah, and that's kind of...
And that's the big challenge of balance.
There is something that I hadn't talked about this movie yet. Because it happened really early on, and then I kind of stopped thinking about it. During one of the first sequences, and now that we're spoilers off, I'm not going to say what it is. I definitely had that thought, this is kind of weird, that I'm watching a movie that is in a real set, but all these characters are CG, and they're fighting each other. What am I watching? I had that moment. Where it's like, what are movies now?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
What is a movie?
I know what scenes you're talking about. Because it happens multiple times where full-on CG characters in a real-life backdrop are fighting. So basically, when you go to film this thing, you just have a camera waving around nothing until they actually put stuff in.
But it's not only that, but it's like also the discourse on Twitter, like in the last week, has been very much like some people like really appreciating it, but there's been also like this undercurrent of being like, yeah, sure, it can be good, but just remember, this is a comic book movie. Do not make it sound like it's this amazing, huge like event. There's a lot of people who, one, do not understand anything that's going on here.
Yeah.
To Kristen's point.
Right.
And also that you have to keep in mind that these are essentially children's movies. It's like, yeah, you might enjoy them, but that doesn't mean that they're not a children's movie, and it's made me really think, it's like, this is such a weird thing that our culture is now going like, to this. It's like this is the thing right now.
But think about the thing happened with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You had adult
equally
people going to see essentially a movie based off a children's book.
I'm not saying anything's wrong with it. Anything wrong is wrong with it, because I'm definitely a strong proponent of, one, you like what you like. There are no guilty pleasures.
Right.
And two, that it doesn't matter if it's made for children. You can still enjoy it. It doesn't make you bad, like a bad person. It doesn't make your taste worse. I love a lot of cartoons. And I like a lot of stuff that's built for children because it's made by people that are my age, and they're not making it just for children. And so, yes, there's an argument on both sides, but It made me think about that. It was in the back of my mind. And so during that sequence, I was like, this is such a bizarre thing that this is the kind of movie that is the biggest movie in the world. Like, think about that. 20 years ago, if you had told somebody, yeah, a movie where all the Avengers beat each other up and it's part cartoon, they would have been like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean part cartoon?
Well, I'm saying, I know it means CG because they didn't know what CG was.
Well, CG.
Most people.
Let's see. 20 years ago.
Oh God, that's right.
2008.
Okay, fine. They would have known.
No, 1998.
What are you talking about? Yeah. So yes, they would have known what CG was. Okay.
Basically, this is you're talking pre-Matrix.
30 years ago.
Matt, 20 years ago is still pre-Matrix.
Sorry, I keep thinking 20 years ago is older than it is. 30 years
right?
ago. 30 years ago, like
88.
They would have thought you were insane because it was such a niche idea that they would
comic
even
book movie?
Make a comic book movie like that, and two, that it would not be live action, and
three, for those people who have read the Infinity War series,
they'd be like, why that?
Like not only why that, but that is such a huge and convoluted story, it would never work.
And so it's such a weird thing this is now our biggest opening weekend of all time.
I am, according to the doctor, I am one of the people who has no idea what is going on, 100%.
Yeah.
But if it involves Team Chris Hemsworth, I assume, I am down AF.
Fair enough. So all right. So basically what we're saying is we like the movie.
Yes.
We have some thoughts about it.
There's one big spoiler.
We could probably do an entire
crossover.
No, we didn't.
One big spoiler for me to cross into.
We could probably do a whole podcast about this. We might.
And we will, if you want to pay us for it.
If you want to pay us for it. But we don't have time to really go into it. But just know that we liked it. I'm sure we'll bring back up when we do our wrap-ups at the end of the year. Or probably just intermittently when more Marvel news comes out. I'm sure we'll talk about...
When we finally get the title for the next Avengers, when we finally get that title, then we'll probably bring up more about what that title actually means compared to this. Because by the time they actually reveal it, it's going to one, it'll hit $1 billion.
Yeah.
Two, everyone should have probably seen it by then.
Yeah.
And three, it's going to be in 2 months, midsummer, when Marvel is like, wait, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp to promote.
Right. Yeah. There's another Marvel movie coming, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap up Avengers talk.
We'll wrap it up. Yeah. Basically, this is our guarantee. Go see it.
Yeah, go see it. We don't even need to do our scale here.
Yeah.
You should probably go see it, if only just to keep yourself from getting harassed.
Oh, apparently she meant friends. Chris Pratt.
What? Oh, Chris Pratt.
Well, no, she says Pratt and Hemsworth at the same time.
So a double Chris.
Well, which actually does happen.
Yes.
And one of the most funniest parts of the film is a double Chris moment.
Yes, there's a lot of hilarity between the two Chris's, so you'll enjoy it. All right, let's move off of Infinity War to talk about Infinity War.
Yes, this is the stat portion of Infinity War.
All right, so our first news story in movie news, which is what we're going into right now, is about Avengers' opening. It is now the #1 domestic opening of all time, beating Star Wars 7, that's Force Awakens, who debuted at $248 million. With its new record of $258 million, and worldwide it also beat the worldwide debut, previously marked by Fate of the Furious at $542 million, with a $640 million debut.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, $600 million in a
funny.
weekend.
It's insane.
We
just talked about how Black Panther's domestic total was 688.
Yes.
Like,
the Avengers worldwide equals the domestic total of Black Panther.
That's insane.
And that was one weekend. But yeah, Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy did a nice passing of the baton, or the lightsaber, to the Iron Man hand in a congratulations.
That's cute.
As has become tradition, where whenever a film gets succeeded as top box office, they do a little fun artwork.
I noticed that. That's always fun.
Yeah.
So this also ties Star Wars for the record of fastest to 500 million domestic. So that's pretty cool.
Hashtag hotness overload.
Hotness overload.
Yes.
Oh man. Just wait.
Does the screen explode when they're both on screen at the same time?
Yes, you could argue that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could argue that the screen does explode.
Yeah.
All right, and then lastly, in the kind of this news here, it is on the way, Avengers is, to cross the $1 billion mark in record time by this coming weekend, and surpassing Star Wars' record of just 12 days. All this is done without the Chinese box office in the mix yet. So once it hits China, this will skyrocket.
So right now, it's on track to cross $1 billion within 10 days.
Yeah.
Let me put that in perspective for you.
Yeah.
10 days, $1 billion. That is $100 million a day.
It's insane. That's like Jeff Bezos money right there. But, all right.
Yes.
Let's move off of this story to another big entertainment story. This one's kind of bigger than movies, but I guess we put it here because it makes the most sense. But one of the major toy companies, has bought one of some major entertainment franchises. So Hasbro, a toy company that has brought you such film franchises as Transformers
and Battleship,
My Little Pony. Just put that in there.
Okay.
That's a movie franchise, more of a TV franchise.
All right, sure.
But yeah, Hasbro has made a purchase of some things you might recognize from a company you might not. Saban Properties, who's been around for a while, kind of for a few
about
reasons.
28-ish, 30-ish years.
They've worked with Disney in the past, but most of the time they've been an independent thing, licensing out their properties. Well, one of their major property is Power Rangers. Well,
yeah, that's right. Power Rangers.
Of the last year movie Power Rangers.
Yes.
Right?
That movie was last year.
But yes, Hasbro has purchased Saban's properties, including Power Rangers, as well as the properties My Pet Monsters and Treehouse Detectives. I have no idea what those are.
Those are toy lines.
I bet they are.
But in addition,
Power Rangers is the crown jewel here.
Yeah.
The deal is a combined cash/stock deal of $522 million, with the first set of products available for spring 2019 from Hasbro. So Power Rangers, has over the course of its history aired 900 episodes of its series, aired in 150 different markets, and the recent live-action movie was made by Lionsgate Entertainment. So, what do you think this means for Power Rangers as a franchise?
I think this means they have a lot more money behind them now.
That's true.
I think this means that, one, the production value for the TV show may actually go up.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because there's still a lot of stuff,
it's meant to be silly because it's based on something that was low tech to begin with, kind of the kaiju style.
Well, but they basically borrowed. I won't say stole because it was in contracts, but they borrowed already existing footage and had to work around that.
Had to shoot at the juice bar for the interstitials.
Power Rangers in the beginning
is a
fascinating story.
I love the juice bar.
Just the creation of Power Rangers is a fascinating story.
It is, but we're not
here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the future of what it means.
What I want to see out of this, though,
Crossovers.
Yes, Transformers, Power Rangers, crossover.
Yes.
Mark Wahlberg runs into the Power Rangers. They have to team up with Bumblebee.
And Power Rangers Turbo gets the real movie it deserves.
Let's do it. All right. No. So yeah, who knows what that means in the end? But yeah, that's something.
But yeah, this is big in terms of toys, considering that Toys R Us is no longer a thing.
Yes.
How to market toys is going to be
Target,
very interesting.
Walmart,
yeah,
and Amazon,
and commercials just straight to the kids now.
Yeah, straight to the kids. But, all right, let's move on from that to actual movie news here. We have a new project from director Spike Lee. This is interesting because the last few Spike Lee movies haven't gone over very well critically.
He's never made a movie.
What are you talking about?
Spike Lee doesn't make movies.
Oh, I'm sorry. The last few Spike Lee joints.
There you go.
Thank you for that setup. God, I was very confused how serious you were taking that. You were like, he hasn't made a movie.
No, he makes joints.
How dare you?
It's always a Spike Lee joint, never a Spike Lee film.
That's true. All right, so there's a new Spike Lee joint. This one is going to star none other than That 70s Show's Topher Grace.
You mean That Venom?
I'm sorry, yes. Film's Venom.
Spider-Man 3's Venom, Topher Grace.
Yes.
Not Chris. Don't call him Chris or Chris. It's Topher.
Topher Grace.
Yes.
So yeah, Topher Grace will be in the new Spike Lee film Black Klansman. And this is stylized with KKK in between Black and Klansman.
Yes.
In case you were wondering what this movie was about.
In case Black Klansman did not give it away.
It is based on the true story of Ron Stallworth, a detective with the Colorado Springs Police Department, who penetrated the highest levels of the KKK in the late 70s. John David Washington will portray Stallworth, while Adam Driver will play his partner Flip Zimmerman, which is a great name. Mm-hmm. And Topher Grace will play none other than former KKK leader David Duke, who you may remember as being in the news fairly recently as an avid supporter of our president. Black Klansman hits theaters on August 10th, so pretty soon here.
Yeah. Interesting to note that the main character, or the main actor of John David Washington, yes, is one, African American, and two, is the son of Denzel Washington.
Really? I did not know that Denzel had a son and that Denzel's son acted.
Neither did I until the story.
This is all news to me. Yeah. Also, haha, my son.
My boy. My boy.
My son. All right.
My son.
My son.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So this movie will come out at the end of the year, and it sounds very Oscar baity, but also, as most Spike Lee movies are, could be very controversial.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely see. He definitely has a record for that.
A bad reputation, but he doesn't care about it.
Reputation.
Yeah.
Does he give a damn?
He doesn't give a damn about that.
Doesn't give a damn about reputation.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have yet another follow-up story to the Weinstein Company.
So I thought we were done with this thing.
But we're not quite, because people are owed money. The studio, even as it's being picked apart and auctioned off, it still has debt. People to repay. A long list of actors who claim they are still owed. These actors include none other than multi-Oscar winner Meryl Streep, multi-Oscar winner George Clooney, multi-Oscar winner Jennifer Lawrence, one Oscar winner Leonardo DiCaprio,
nice,
no Oscar winner Bill Murray, and a couple Oscar winner.
An Oscar-nominated
Tarantino.
Oscar-nominated Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, no, he's one.
He's one?
One for Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For screenplay.
Yeah, screenplay.
And more. Tarantino himself is specifically owed $4.6 million for his 4 films made under the Weinstein Company banner. So that would be Django Unchained, Inglourious Basterds,
Hateful
Eight,
and The Grindhouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the last one of those.
Okay. So yeah,
maybe that was the first one, but yeah.
Many of these debts, in case you're wondering, come from back-end participation and residual payments. Mike, what is a back-end payment for those people who didn't go to film school?
It is when you turn your back towards Harvey Weinstein and he
No, don't go there.
But that was the joke you were hoping to
No.
It's a backhand statement.
No.
You just slide it right in there.
Stop it right now. No.
It's a Weinstein joke. Come on.
You're a Weinstein joke. What is the back-end participation?
Right. So back-end participation could include anything from going out and helping to promote this film to if a film hits any certain marks in terms of either critical reception or box office numbers. All this is written out in a contract that they make before the film is made. Before any distribution, it's basically a part of their contract saying that if I make this film and it hits $100 million, you have to pay me a bonus on it. It's basically all these extra incentives to make a good film, but you know you're going to do it anyways.
Okay. All right, perfect. That works perfectly. Thank you. Next up, before we move on to television, did we watch any other movies? Did you watch any other movies, theatrical or otherwise?
No. I was too busy this weekend to go to the theater.
Fair enough. I watched a movie.
What did you watch?
I watched the Hulu original documentary Tiny Shoulders.
Was that a documentary?
It is a documentary.
Okay.
So, what that is, in case you're wondering, which you are apparently.
Yes.
It is about...
Why do I care about Tiny Shoulders?
It's about Barbie, specifically Barbie's tiny shoulders. And as the name implies, it is kind of a double meaning. It's both about... So the documentary itself is about both kind of the reception that Barbie has had as like a cultural item, like people's criticism of Barbie's, body type and like what it means about femininity, what it means about little girls, like what little girls read into it, like culture, all that stuff. But it also is about, and it chronicles the specific instance in 2016 in which they decided to introduce new body types for Barbie. When they introduced the curvy Barbie and the tall Barbie, the petite Barbie, which was the first time that they had actually made a huge rollout of different body shapes for Barbie. So you actually get to meet some of like the creative leads on the Barbie team, and they get to tell you you get to see their experiences about workshopping the idea and sketching the idea, showing it to kids as like demoing the new body types, working with Time magazine for a cover story, and all that stuff. And it uses that and juxtaposes that with the history of Barbie. So it'll have like flashbacks being like, here's what the Barbie line was like in the 70s. Here's what it was in the 80s, 90s, etc. And like it goes back and forth between the modern story and the story of Barbie's past. And then you get to see the event when the reveal happens. You get to see the reaction that the society has like both for and against these new Barbies. And it's super fascinating.
I'm taking a guess that Fox News was against this.
They didn't really. I think they may have had like one joke thing about a Fox News story, but it's not like it's interesting because they make it a point to, as most good documentaries do, they're showing you like a survey of everything.
That's good.
They show some people who are very critical of Barbie as just a concept, and they also show these people who literally like bleed Barbie every day. Like the lead of the team of the marketing team for Barbie is this really interesting character because she's kind of on the younger side. She looks like she's probably in her late 30s. She is a lesbian, and she's of this generation that understands the issues culturally about the past of Barbie. And so she's trying to change it, but there's also this pressure from other young women on the same team. But like, how much of a risk is a risk? And so you get to see this interesting dynamic where people that are of the generation that want this change so badly are struggling with the change because they understand the realities of the toy industry. So it's this really, really, really compelling story. So if that sounds interesting to you, and if you like documentaries like this,
I do.
Check it out because it's on Hulu. It's a Hulu original. So if you're not on Hulu,
hour and a half, I
you won't be able
assume.
to see it. No, it is like a full straight up 2 hours.
Wow.
It is meaty. You get what you want from this thing. So yeah, go check it out. It's called Tiny Shoulders. But yeah, I recommend it. It's fun. All right, so that's what I watched. I didn't really watch any other movies. So
no, big movie was The Avengers this weekend, which we covered it at length. But we have other stuff to talk about. There's other news.
Television stuff to talk about, starting with sports. So,
Sports section brought to you by Sports.
So, To begin sports, we of course had the NFL draft last week.
And congratulations to one Heisman Trophy winner, Baker Mayfield, for being selected number 1 overall.
By who?
The Browns.
Because of course he was.
Because of course the Browns had the number 1 pick. But in other draft picks, the Jets ruined another USC quarterback by drafting Sam Darnold, the Darnold.
Yes.
The Cardinals played safe and draft Josh Rosen of UCLA. Mm-hmm. And I want to say Josh Allen went somewhere.
Doctor Strange movement you're doing right here.
Yeah. Josh Allen went in the top 5,
uh-huh.
but I forget where he went. Oh, no, he didn't go to Broncos. I forget where he went.
I can't tell you.
Oh, Buffalo. He went to Buffalo.
Buffalo?
That's right. He went to Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yep.
So yeah, those are your big, the big news about the draft. Anything of note besides that?
That happened during the draft?
Yeah.
Oh, the one-handed linebacker got drafted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was neat.
Yeah.
The Colts picked up the biggest guy on the line there is. A 6'8", 320-pound guard.
Dang.
Who will hopefully
be a brick wall
to guard Andrew Luck.
Yeah, you hope.
They're showing the stats for this guy. He came out as a 10.5-pound baby.
Jesus.
And he had to lose 10 pounds every summer to play Pop Warner.
Wow.
He's just that huge.
He's a big guy.
Yes. But he has feet that are insane.
Tell me about his feet.
It's like feet movement. You need more feet?
I need to know about his feet.
Yeah, I'm really excited about what's happening right now.
Yeah,
In other sports news... Yes, Albert Pujols of the Los Angeles Angels is close to hitting his 3,000th hit.
He's creeping. He's
currently at 2,998 hits. 2 shy of the 3,000 mark.
That's insane.
Now, he's currently in the middle of a game. He can still possibly get one more hit.
Yeah.
Now, for the fun facts... I'm going to tomorrow night's game.
Oh man, so you might be there.
He very well could hit number 3,000 or
cool.
299 and 3,000 tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night just also happens to be poncho night.
So you're going to be in your poncho watching the 3,000th hit.
Being my poncho,
nice,
in my sombrero, eating nachos, watching Albert Pujols hit his 3,000th home run.
There you go. Next up in news, we also have the Kentucky Derby coming on Saturday.
We did note that, Doctor.
Yeah.
Get ready for 3,000 tomorrow.
Yeah.
That Colts guy is a monster. Josh Allen went to the Bills. They traded to the 7th pick up to get him.
Ah.
Yes, that's right. They made a big, 3 draft trade to move up, 4 spots to get him.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah, that was a big news, big deal.
But yeah, like I said, the last news story here about sports is that, the Kentucky Derby is on Saturday. So get ready if you like your horse racing.
Yes, the first Saturday in May is always the Kentucky Derby. The Saturday also happens to be Cinco de Mayo.
So, that's tons of fun.
Yes. So you have your mint juleps in the morning,
yep.
Your tequila in the afternoon.
That's the way I live.
And your bed at night.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, at the toilet at night.
Yeah, no, that's actually way more accurate. All right, so that's it for sports. Moving into television news. Our first story is about one of the most long-running shows on television. Is getting
60 minutes.
Even longer. No! The Simpsons.
Oh.
This past Sunday, April 29th, saw the 636th episode of The Simpsons, thus setting a new record.
That's the episode we actually watched before this podcast.
It is now the longest running scripted primetime series, I want to asterisk here, in American television.
Yes.
So, this now beats...
Yes, it passes Gunsmoke.
It beats Gunsmoke and Law & Order, who are now both tied for the longest running primetime live action series, each other with 20 seasons produced. This now beats that.
Yes.
The number of episodes.
Yes, The Simpsons did a nice opening where it was a Gunsmoke opening, a lawman doing a high noon standoff with Baby Maggie saying, "You're not getting my record," and then Baby Maggie shooting him with her bottle, and then start of the opening to The Simpsons as it officially passes Gunsmoke.
So with another season ordered of The Simpsons, there will be 30
Yes.
seasons by the time that that season ends, and 669 episodes total. So it is unclear about whether it will be purchased, whether future seasons will be purchased.
Mainly because Fox may be purchased.
So we don't know if it will exist. In case you guys are wondering why I was specific about American television, the internet has a lot of news sources have gotten this wrong, so I want to make sure that we're not one of them.
Yes.
There's a Japanese anime that has run for a very, very long time and runs daily, I want to say. So it has a record of being a primetime scripted show that will never be beaten because it is still going on today. So, no.
And you don't know the name of that show?
No, I don't.
Neither do I.
Even if I did, I probably wouldn't pronounce it correctly.
Right,
so
you probably
I'm being
butchered
careful.
it.
So yes, just keep that in mind that yes, that is American television only. It will never, ever be the number one worldwide.
Yes.
Just letting you know.
And to be fair, I don't think anything will... To be fair, if anything even comes close to The Simpsons, it's...
I don't even know what it would be.
Yeah.
I mean, part of me is like, maybe South Park? But I don't even think that they want to do South Park that long.
I don't think they... No.
Like, I can't think of anything that would last that long.
Even still, South Park only does maybe 13 to 10 episodes a season.
Is Law & Order SVU getting up there?
It's creeping up there.
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah, but it still has years to catch up before official Law & Order.
Right. So yeah, who knows? But
right.
Yeah, for now, it is the record.
Yes, and this also does not include soap operas at all.
No, because that's not prime time.
Yes.
But yes, so yeah, keep that in mind. We have a new king of prime time, so that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Too bad that episode sucked. But what you gonna do?
But they got Glenn Close.
Yeah, for 2 lines.
It was a monologue.
All right, let's move on to other depressing news.
So the other, it's funny because both of these dads started at the same time.
So it's depressing news in subject matter, but it's great news for what actually occurred.
The Cosby Show.
So yeah, in case you've been following Bill Cosby lately, you might know that he has been accused of some stuff that he most definitely did, and turns out that now the court found him guilty as well. So
the Rudy has come to roost.
Bill Cosby has finally been found guilty on 3 counts of aggravated assault. Each count is punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Cosby reportedly lashed out in the courtroom after the prosecution argued to revoke his bail. He has been accused by 60 women of molestation over the course of several decades, and his first trial in June 2017 had ended in a mistrial, which is why the second retrial occurred. It is important to note that the reason why a lot of those allegations in the past did not come to light is because of something I like to call the statute of limitations. Well, I don't just like to call that.
It's what it is called that.
But
yes, this statute has stood in place.
Yes, not the statute of limitations. Statute.
Oh,
of
statute.
This is
Okay.
different things. So yeah, in case you're wondering why it took this long. So yeah, this means an 88-year-old man or 80-something-year-old man, I don't know exactly how old he is, will be going to prison.
Hey Google, how old is Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby is 80 years old.
80.
80
Okay, I
years
was off by 8 years.
All right.
Yes. So yeah, this old man will go to prison, deservedly so. So there you go.
Allegedly.
They found him guilty, so that's not allegedly. That's how guilty works. It's now official. All right, let's move on to a little bit of a happier story here. If you like DC Comics, well, guess what?
I like DC Comics.
Well, guess what?
Are they doing a streaming service?
They sure are.
What?
A new digital service was announced that is a joint venture between WB and DC Entertainment. It's the first of its kind, an immersive digital experience designed just for DC fans. The membership includes unlimited access to exclusive original series, including Titans, Swamp Thing, Young Justice, Metropolis, and Harley Quinn. The service is designed as an immersive experience with fan interaction that encompasses comics as well as their TV series.
Yes. This is something new. Because DC covers not only comic books, but also like TV and movies, this could potentially be all DC under one roof, but also a conglomeration where fans can interact with other fans outside of just forum stuff.
Yeah. Which is cool.
It's interesting to see where this is going to go, and it'd be interesting to see if Marvel decides, for once, to copy DC.
They don't need to.
They don't need to.
No.
Especially since all Marvel stuff's going to be under the Disney streaming service anyways.
Right, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, it's not going to matter.
But yeah, this is a cool little experiment. It'll be interesting to see how long this lasts.
Yeah. Especially with 4 or 5 different TV exclusives.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
A Harley Quinn show, I feel like, is probably due. I think that people will enjoy having a show just about that character.
It'll be interesting to see if they do an all-female squad behind Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I understand that exists.
Right.
So that would be a way to do that.
But the one thing I'm excited for about all the shows is Titans, because I've been following that casting for a while now.
Okay.
I've been following on the show, too.
Yeah.
I like Teen Titans as a group. I like the fact, I like them, like, they deal with, like, coming of age stuff, morality issues, a lot more heavy hitting stuff than regular comic book stuff.
Right. Yeah, that could be
it's a lot because they have to be a lot more relatable.
Mm-hmm.
So it has the potential to be big, but I feel like it could hit the Star Trek Discovery.
Oh yeah, where
it's good. It's good. It has a good storyline, but because it's behind the DC Universe paywall, no one's gonna watch it.
Yeah, it could happen.
That's what I'm afraid of.
All right, so there's that. Moving on to something that none of these shows will win, an Emmy. I'm sorry. Let's be real.
Hey, The Simpsons have won Emmys before.
No, I said no, the DC shows.
Oh.
Not talking about The Simpsons. But yeah, the Emmys are this year going to be on NBC. That would be the 70th Primetime Emmy Awards. And because of NBC, they will be hosted this year by Weekend Update head hosts Colin Jost and Michael Che. Lorne Michaels will also executive produce the show.
Yes.
Thanks.
He executive produced the show way back in the 80s. But last time it was on NBC.
Huh.
So yeah.
So there you go.
He's just been stuck around long enough for it to return to his domain.
They will be on September 17th, 8 p.m., live from the Microsoft Theater at LA Live. Nominations, however, will be announced on July 12th.
So we're still about a month.
It's pretty far out still.
Yeah.
We're 2 months out.
We're 2 months out.
From nominations. So yeah,
we'll
when it gets a little closer, we'll talk about our predictions for Emmys.
Right. TV has to wrap up first.
TV has to stop first, which hasn't happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, this makes sense. SNL is enjoying another one of their political renaissances. So yeah, it makes sense that they would choose them to headline it, even if they're not my favorite.
And real briefly, side note on just SNL, this weekend is Donald Glover featuring Childish Gambino as a musical guest.
Yes, Donald Glover featuring Donald Glover.
Yes.
So yeah, look forward to that on Saturday. Moving on from television news into cancellations and renewals.
Things got canceled.
First up, we have nothing got canceled. We have 2 renewals for you. First up is Billions on Showtime. We'll get a 4th season. And second up, Westworld, having just premiered its 2nd season on HBO, will get a 3rd. So check that out. Next up is your deaths. First up, we have Michael Anderson, age 98, who is the director of Logan's Run. And then we have Pamela Gidley, age 52, that's young, who is an actress in Twin Peaks.
I think she was one of the young girls on Twin Peaks.
That makes sense. That is it for cancellations, renewals, and deaths. That was fast.
Yep. Just get that all.
Wipe ourselves clean of that.
Yep.
Moving on to music.
Any TV to note?
Not really. I didn't really watch anything new.
There's new Netflix stuff to watch.
That's true.
Check your local Netflix listings.
Local listings.
Other than that, American Idol went live coast to coast.
Yeah, it did.
We mentioned that briefly.
So yeah, both American Idol and and the Voice are down to 10 now, right?
I think...
No, Idol's down to 8.
Idol's down to 8, because they're doing 3 eliminations a night.
So, yeah. So far.
That
might change.
Yeah. And we're in a weird, awkward... I don't know why I need to mention this, but Dancing with the Stars is doing an athletes-only edition.
That is also happening.
With Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah! In case you want to see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar dance. And
Johnny Damon.
And Jamie Anderson of Olympic snowboarding.
And Mariah... What's her name?
Well, yeah.
Figure skater? Yeah.
So check that out if you like dancing celebrities. Alright, let's move on to music, which means the Billboard charts.
Alright.
First up is...
Tell me more about Drake.
Your Hot 100, yes, which has more Drake than you could ever want. Your number 1 song is still Nice for What by Drake. Number 2 is still God's Plan by Drake. Number 3, though, debuting in your top 5 is No Tears Left to Cry by Ariana Grande, her new single, off of her just-announced album, Sweetener.
Yes.
Sweetener. As I joked this morning, what you put in a Grande Starbucks drink.
Yes, Sweetener.
Number 4, Meant to Be by BB Rexha and Florida Georgia Line.
Moving down 1.
Number 5, Psycho by Post Malone featuring Ty Dolla $ign. So, relatively the same as always. Your Billboard 200 chart, which is your albums chart. Debuting at number 1, you have a new number 1 album in the country, guys. K.O.D. by J. Cole is your new number 1.
J. Cole?
J. Cole. Number 2, Invasion of Privacy by Cardi B. Number 3, Eat the Elephant by A Perfect Circle. Number 4, the Grace Showman soundtrack hangs in there. And number 5, Rearview Town by Jason Aldean.
Okay.
That is your Billboard charts. Moving on to new releases for this Friday. First up, you have a Black Moth Super Rainbow with Panic Blooms. Damian Gerardo with The Horizon Just Laughed. DJ Cozy with Knock Knock.
DJ Cozy.
DJ Cozy. Frank Turner with Be More Kind. Ice Age with Beyondless. John Hopkins with Singularity. Leon Bridges with Good Thing. Matt and Kim with Almost Every Day. Parker Millsap with Other Arrangements. Peace with Kindness is the New Rock and Roll. Shinedown with Attention Attention. And Trampled by Turtles with, you love that name, with yes, Life is Good on the Open World.
I do love that name,
Trampled by Turtles. It's just such a great visual of all these turtles. Just... Alright, that's your new releases.
Yep. Alright, so let's talk about a movie coming out soon.
Wait, that's not the first story.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wait, that's not about a movie.
So, a movie came out a couple of years ago, starring Meryl Streep.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going here. This has nothing to do with the movie, but it does have to do with
Mamma Mia.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. So that's the sequel coming out. Mamma Mia. Here we go again.
Yeah.
And just like the title, aforementioned title, ABBA decided that they wanted to go again.
That was a really long, unnecessary segue, but thank you. Yes, the story actually is about ABBA. Yes, the world-famous pop band who debuted at Eurovision in the 70s and made a name for themselves with enduring pop hits. It's a fun fact. But yeah, enduring pop hits such as Mamma Mia and Waterloo and all sorts of massive hits are getting back together. Manager Goral Hanser has made a press release officially stating that ABBA has made new music for the first time in 35 years. He says, quote, "We all four felt after some 35 years it could be fun to join forces again and go into the recording studio. So we did. And it was like time had stood still and that we had only been away on a short holiday." That was the quote from their press release about this. So yeah, look forward to new ABBA music.
What year is it?
It's apparently a weird-ass year. That's what it is.
Yeah. So ABBA is coming out with new music. Congratulations, fans of ABBA.
What even is an ABBA song now? Like, what would that be? What is a 2018 What is a 2018 ABBA song? No, High Horse is a 2018 Bee Gees song.
Yeah. Disco.
No, actually, I take that back. It's a 2018 Blondie song. Man, I don't know what an ABBA song sounds like.
24 Karat?
No. See, that's the thing.
Treasure is treasure.
What I'm trying to get at is that there's no equivalent because the 35-year-old gap means that so much has changed in the world of music that it is impossible to know what influences ABBA has taken. Who knows?
You realize that this could mean that people born after ABBA's retired could influence ABBA's return.
It's 100%. In fact, I bet they have, for all we know. All right. Next
time is a weird thing.
Next story is about Gibson guitars. Unfortunately, Gibson has filed for bankruptcy.
So we reported on this about 2 months ago, that how they were in trouble, how they had lots of debts, but they were taking on an investor.
Right.
Well,
they have filed for bankruptcy officially now with the turnaround plan.
Yeah.
A restructuring support agreement will help repay bank loans while going through a transition. Being roughly $500 million in debt, Gibson will be replacing its current stockholders with its creditors at Silver Point Capital, Melody Capital Partners, and KKR Credit Advisors. That's all gibberish and financial talk. All you need to know is that
Gibson officially filed for Chapter 11.
Yeah, Chapter 11.
They are restructuring their entire model. It is a publicly traded company.
Right.
But all those shares of the stockholders will now be divvied up to the remaining creditors in order to absolve some of that debt. Yeah. Now, granted, they will still be in debt. They'll also still be a company.
Yeah.
But before they can actually be any relevance, I mean, besides just being in name.
I mean, we'll find out.
We'll find out, yeah. Because this could go the way of the Blockbuster.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate.
Well, Gibson might not have money. But if you have money, let me tell
you. No. We're going another one first.
What?
Flip it.
Fine. Why?
It's because it goes into festivals.
Why? Why do you do this?
Sorry, I thought about it midstream.
All right, I guess skipping my clean segue there I was super proud of.
Yeah.
Into a story about YouTube. Well, the head of music at YouTube confirms that YouTube Red and Google Play Music will be combining to create a new streaming service, one that will cover almost anything.
Yes, almost.
Almost anything. During a panel session for the New Music Seminar Conference in New York, the head of music, which is a title I really want.
Head of music for head YouTube? Music,
yeah. Confirmed, no, just head of music. I want to be head of music.
Just the head of music?
General.
General head of music?
Confirmed the merge as much when asked about the minimal users on YouTube Music. Right now, if you pay for YouTube Red, you have access to Google Play for free. But anybody can use YouTube Music for free, and then YouTube TV is also something else they offer. Combining the two will present a clear, simple offering that may integrate all YouTube services. So yeah, this is smart. I don't know why they introduced both of those things. I think they probably overestimated the audience of how many people use YouTube for streaming music.
Well, see, they brought out YouTube Music roughly around the same time they brought out YouTube Gaming.
Right.
As a way to basically have people continue to come to YouTube, but not have all their servers be bogged down as much. To try and separate them, separate but equal.
But at the same,
I know.
But at the same time, though, it's I guess when you're one company and having two very similar services, there's no reason why to pay for both.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, let's look at people to use Google Music, which is a vast variety. Most people don't use it because they figure that you just have to pay for it. No, it is a streaming service.
Right.
You can pay for it, but if you pay if you just pay for the subscription to Google Music, it's a streaming service that they offer. Which will just pay for Spotify now.
Yeah, that's true. But if you like paying for things, here's my segue. Make it work. What if I told you that you could spend $1 million for the world's most expensive festival ticket?
But I already went to Stagecoach.
That's, believe it or not, this is more expensive than that. Like I said, it's $1 million. And it's for Iceland's Secret Solstice Festival. So, if you pay $1 million, what do you get?
What do I get?
Perks include your own private chef, a private glam squad, which I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
And fly round trip in a private chartered G300 business jet for 6 people from any destination. There's only one of these golden tickets up for grabs. Otherwise, you could opt for the more reasonable $14,000 Package of the Gods. You don't even break that down. It's in the Package of the Gods.
No. Well, the 3 points you made, don't even encompass everything.
Yeah.
They also include a week's stay at the fancy hotel, daily spa massages, private chef, private performance by one of the bands,
right?
Bunch of other like perks like a spa, not like take home packages, hiking trip. Oh, and a 3-hour helicopter tour around the glaciers and the volcano.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
All for $1 million. So if you have that lying around in pocket change,
use it for better things. Don't use it for this. That'll do it for music, guys. That's it for music.
No, not quite. Festival talk.
That's right. So you went to Stagecoach Music Festival.
I went to Stagecoach.
How was that?
It was a wild and crazy weekend. Aside from just all the shenanigans that went on outside of Stagecoach, like in the pool and on the golf course. I played golf. I did terrible, but I played golf.
But you played it.
But I played it. I was out there. I was sweating like a beast. Hopefully I didn't play like one. But the music itself was great. I enjoyed myself, as I always do. But this year, a little differently. I wasn't quite excited for most of the bands, most of the acts.
Sure.
Maybe only 2 I was like really looking forward to. That being said, the headliners really worked well.
Okay.
There's a reason they're the headliners. There's a reason they get paid the big bucks. Florida Georgia Line rocked the house. I know, but they are definitely an arena band. They have the big bombastic sound. They have the moving and grooving beats. They also have the featurings.
Yes.
Of many artists so that they can wheel them out.
They've got the feats.
They got the feats. They got the feats.
Yeah.
They got the feats.
They
they brought out Jason Derulo during their set.
Jason Derulo.
Yep. Who's the other one? Oh, Graffiti U. New album. No, U. A new album that came out.
Keith Urban.
By Keith Urban. Well, I mentioned that because there was a big ad playing for it right before he came out. And he has hits. To say what you want about him, but he's got hits. He's got hits out the wazoo.
Did he play Told You So?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
the one. Did he play Kiss a Girl?
Of course he did.
I'm trying to think of other.
And then I Kissed My Girl.
Did he play Cop Car?
Yes. In the back of a cop car.
There's like the only Keith Urban songs I know.
Yeah.
Was Nicole Kidman there?
Actually, yeah, she was in the wings.
Yeah, she was.
He said as much that she was there with him. It was great. It was great. Mike sang every single word of Casey Musgraves.
Yeah, he did.
Here we go again. Yep. Yep. She was probably the biggest artist I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
But as I have said when I was listening to Golden Hour, and as I said during the review, this is not a arena album.
No, it's definitely
and
not.
Her songs are not
you were saying
big stadium albums.
You were saying they didn't play to the crowd, so the crowd that was unfamiliar seemed bored.
Yes. The crowd for Casey Musgraves was fairly bored. People were sitting in their chairs. People around me were falling asleep because her songs and her music is not big loudspeakers.
It's not that kind of
it's
thing.
It's not that kind of thing. So I could see why people will get bored, but just
I'd argue that the contents of Golden Hour is like the antithesis of Florida Georgia Line's entire discography.
Yeah.
It's a very different thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
Well, how was Garth Brooks? That's the one.
That's what I'm building up to. Garth Brooks. I'm waiting to see if the doctor wants to talk about Garth Brooks. So first, we're going to talk about the chef, Guy Fieri.
Oh right, you ran into Guy Fieri.
I met Guy Fieri twice. Was going to go for a third time, but got there a little too late, a little too hungover. But his food, well, from what I could tell, was probably good. Because they had like hour wait. It was like Disneyland ride for every booth.
I love that sentence. His food, from what I could tell, was probably good.
I mean, the stuff that people were walking around with looked good. But like I said, it was like Disneyland, waiting to get up there to the front of the line, and I was not going to sit and wait there. But, yeah, so let's get to Garth Brooks. I'd only heard of Garth Brooks through music.
Wait, okay. What does that mean? Because you have literally heard of every of these artists through music. What are you talking about?
What I mean by that is that...
You've never seen him perform?
I've never seen him perform.
Okay.
2, if you ask me to name a Garth Brooks song, I will struggle to the end of the day.
Interesting, because I can name a lot of Garth Brooks songs.
Yes. But the fact that I know Garth Brooks is a country singer without technically naming any song...
Let's see. The Dance, The Thunder Rolls... No, nothing?
I recognize The Dance, because that's like the wedding song.
Yeah. Everybody has The Dance at their wedding.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thunder Rolls? You hadn't heard that before?
No. That's the thing, though, is that when he was playing the songs, I recognized them as he played them.
Okay, fair.
But, I didn't realize that they were Garth Brooks songs.
Got it.
Oh, then he also brought out Trisha Yearwood.
Friends in Low Places?
Oh, yeah, see, I know that song.
Right.
I didn't know that was a Garth Brooks
song.
song.
Oh my god! Anyways.
Yeah, he played that song.
So he brought out Trisha Yearwood, his husband.
Yes.
His wife.
His husband.
His wife.
His wife.
His wife.
Yes. So he brought Trisha Yearwood.
No.
She sang her 2 songs, which I knew. I know, but her 2 hits. Which I, for some reason, knew, because 90s.
Yeah, turns out. She has
and Con Air.
And yeah, because of Con Air.
Because of Con Air. She could have benefited from... Casey Musgraves could have benefited from doing a few more of her singles. It was easier to get a selfie with Guy than to get the hands on his food. Also, the fact that Matt knows a ton of Garth songs is amazing.
Well, yeah.
Well, you grew up with your dad.
Yeah, my dad. Well, I didn't grow up with Kristen's dad. That'd be weird.
No,
I grew up with my dad.
Your dad.
And yeah, we listened to a lot of country music in that era. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a good country taste, background, education, discography, knowledge prior to Otani. Prior to the Doctor.
Yeah.
So a lot of my country knowledge is
more recent.
More recent, more new.
He kind of went away for a decade there. Like, during the 2000s, he dropped off the face of the earth.
As he mentioned, he went to raise his kids.
He's a family man, yeah.
Family dad.
Trisha, basically, like, hey, we've got all our money. He, of course, was the highest-selling artist of the 1990s, so yeah, he had money to spare. He was done. He was just like, all right, check it out.
Yeah, and you know what? Whenever people talk about how many #1 hits someone has, his name always comes up. Yeah. Like, right up there with Elvis and Michael Jackson.
He is one of the all-time record setters because he was big when record sales still mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's one of the last ones. Him and Eminem, are the last ones because you literally can't do it anymore. It's impossible.
Right, because everything goes streaming.
Yeah. Unless you're Adele or Taylor Swift, that's just the reality.
Yeah.
You're just never going to get those numbers. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that he put on a good show.
Yeah.
Did he transform into Chris Gaines at any time?
No.
Did he make any jokes about becoming Chris Gaines?
I don't think so, no.
Do you know what I'm talking about at all?
I believe so. I believe you mentioned this before to me.
Garth Brooks had an alter ego around like the late 90s, like 98, 99, called Chris Gaines, where he was trying to be like a pop artist crossover guy.
Yeah.
It didn't work. Look it up. It's a fun Wikipedia article.
Okay. Garth was freaking baller.
You okay?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. A little note, though, that just whenever festivals play and the opening bands, like the afternoon bands, go on stage, they only have like 1 or 2 hits or songs.
Well, I mean...
So it basically becomes a big, a very loud rock band session, or cover band session, where they play someone else's hits.
I mean, it's a festival.
Yeah.
You fill out
it's very
the
much
whole
played
day.
to the crowd.
You fill out the whole day, even though you know most of the people are there for the people late at night.
Right.
Like, it's just the reality. I mean, Coachella's like that, too.
Yeah.
Except the difference is, and I feel like between country music and Coachella is, I don't know a lot of country fans that are like big fans of the smaller up and coming bands.
Well, I recognize some of the up and comings because they have the one or two new hits.
But that's what I'm saying though.
But that's it. But they don't have enough.
No, I think you're misreading what I mean by small band. I mean they're not playing them on the radio.
Oh.
You don't have that with country music, at least in my experience. Maybe if you're in a country music scene, if you live in Nashville, maybe that's different. Maybe you're more familiar with kind of that smaller scene. So that's what I'm saying. The difference between this and Coachella is that even Coachella, you'll have people flying out for the smaller bands, whereas you probably don't have that in Stagecoach.
Right.
It's just a different thing. So yeah, I could understand how people would basically just gloss over the really early acts.
Yeah. Oh, but Midland was really good. The band called Midland. Check them out. Yeah.
Okay.
Ironically, not from Midland, Texas.
Are they from some sort of Midland?
They're from nearby Midland, Texas.
Okay,
they're called Midland.
Gospels
Midland, which is
liars.
Great. Yes. Ty is impressed by Matt's knowledge of Garth Brooks. Wow.
I mean,
Better than me.
I know some weird stuff about weird things.
You know a lot about different music and everywhere.
I know a lot about stuff,
Yes. Wikipedia helps you a lot.
That's weird. Moving on.
Okay.
Where did that even come from?
Yeah. So Stagecoach once again a success. Stagecoach was a success.
Yeah.
We'll get to, look forward to who they pick next year.
Yep.
It's always going to be a good time.
Always.
Which they should probably get Alan Jackson now that I say that.
Ha ha ha. Didn't he headline 2 years ago?
No, I was there 2 years ago. It was before that.
I swear Alan Jackson headlined.
I'm pretty sure he...
In the last 5 years. I'm sure that has happened.
Probably.
Anyways, let's stop talking about Stagecoach. Yeah. Alright, let's move out of music and into video games, our final segment here.
Yes.
Then I'll try to make this quick.
Alright,
because we're running on hour 20 now.
Yeah. We're going to take you on a world tour in video games. I want to set this thing up because none of these stories come from America.
Well, before we do stories, we have to do upcoming releases, so you're ruining this.
Oh, yeah. So
hold your segue. You ruined my segue. I ruined yours.
All right.
We're even now.
Fair enough.
All right. Upcoming releases for this week include Super Mega Baseball 2 for PS4.
That's right. It's a sequel.
Super Mega Baseball 2.
It's a sequel.
Perfect Angle for Switch. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for Switch. So that is a Wii U game getting a port to Switch. So check that out. Those are your releases. Now, do your segue.
Now do my segue?
So we're going around a tour of the world with these news stories?
Yes. None of these news stories directly come from the U.S., but they probably could have major implications.
Major implications?
To U.S. to U.S. gaming industries.
All right, let's find out what. So, first up, we go to Norway. Our friends in Norway, the Norwegian Consumer Council, is reporting the Nintendo eShop, Steam, Origin, and the PlayStation Store for breaches of clauses concerning the right of withdrawal. Gamers are being prevented from canceling pre-orders and do not fulfill the criteria that would make them exempt from the right of withdrawal. This is in breach of Norwegian and European consumer contracts legislation. Previously, the Nintendo eShop specifically was being singled out to change its rules and practices, but that led to nothing being done. So now all 4 companies are being pursued in this case. So this has to do with returns and refunds, right?
Yes. So whenever you make a digital purchase, a pre-order, and it's a digital pre-order, currently there is no way to back out as once either reviews hit or sales don't do so good or word of mouth. When those start coming out, people usually start to back out and trying to decline their pre-orders. Now, if you play by credit card, you can usually cancel a purchase that way. Yeah. But you should also be able to cancel it through the actual shop. That's not the case with most European pre-orders.
So yeah, as it stands right now, most of these stores do not have refunds available at all.
Refund or cancel.
Yeah. So PlayStation Store, Origin, nor the eShop. None of them have any sort of refunds in place.
Right.
Steam, however, does have a sort of refund situation that they introduced about 2 years ago now.
Right.
That does exist.
Credits, right?
It's for, and it is also predicated on time spent with the game. You cannot spend longer than I think 2 hours with a video game before you basically it's turned off. The refundability is turned off, and you have to keep it. So stuff like that probably is against these rules because these laws were probably made before digital content existed, and they didn't consider that we were going to start buying so many things that we can't actually touch, and we can't actually physically return to a store.
Right, the physical embodiment of what something is. So physical products in a digital world.
I mean, we had this this is also sort of happening in the U.S. with the Steam stuff. We kind of had this conversation, and are going to continue having this conversation as we kind of iron out the kinks. Yep. So yeah, I think this is just a natural kind of thing that's bound to come up in the digital era as we get more and more into digital product.
Yep, and seeing as the U.S. isn't doing anything about it, we're going to look to the European nations to...
I mean, hey, they're a little bit more progressive than we are in that department anyways. So
I don't know, we're still doing the big fight of, do video games cause violence?
Right, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, of course I am all for consumer protections, so I'm glad that this is a conversation that's happening. All
right, next.
Move on to Belgium. We're jumping over to Belgium, where the Gaming Commission judges have concluded that paying for loot boxes is a game of chance.
And game of chances is gambling.
So yeah, in November of 2017, the rise of loot boxes in video games led to this Belgian Gaming Commission to look into the matter to determine if the in-game elements met the definition of a game of chance. They concluded that paying for loot boxes indeed are games of chance, and a criminal law approach is in effect. Quote, players are seduced and deceived by it, and none of the protective measures for gambling are being applied. So, this means that this will likely lead to legislation making it closer to a gambling situation if...
Right, now we've already seen companies take approaches in the U.S. to where they put their odds out, or they make it more obvious that it's a pay-to-win or a loot box scenario or a paid subscription, something type like that.
A little clearer messaging.
But now they have to do the same thing, but in Europe. But Europe will have stricter rules.
Right, because of it. So yeah, I mean, we'll probably see a lot of countries have this conversation.
Right. It'll be interesting to see how much longer loot boxes or any types of these will stay into effect.
Yeah.
Because it's a immediate reaction, like harsh reaction from not only the community but just from everywhere.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to see how long this stays, and if we get to a point where video game companies have to come up with something new to take our money.
So we'll see. Moving on to the something called the GDPR.
Now this is the big European blockade now.
So we're zooming out in in Europe here. The new European General Data Protection Regulation.
Data protection?
Requirements have taken effect as of the beginning of May, so as of yesterday. This was an agreement made in April 2016 that will act as the primary law regulating how companies protect the EU citizens' personal data. Some of the key protection requirements include consent for data processing, making collected data anonymous, providing notifications for any and all data breaches, and appointing a data protection officer to the larger companies. It is important to note that any company that markets goods or services to EU residents, regardless of location, is still subject to the regulation of these rules. So this is nationwide. This is, or I guess...
This is global.
International, let's put it.
Yes.
Amongst the EU nations. So that's potentially really, really good.
Yes. However, because of this, some of these smaller companies are actually shutting down their EU servers.
Oh.
Because they do not want to operate under these guidelines.
So basically, yeah, because they would be basically handing over all this data on their players to a government entity.
Right.
And I could understand that maybe some people who run companies, as people who run companies are, would be a little leery of that.
Yeah,
But to me, this sounds like, no, this is good. It keeps the consumers away from potential data breaches, which is which is already being an issue.
Sony's had like 3 hacks in the past 5 years.
Right.
Microsoft had 2. And Nintendo, none?
Not
One?
yet. Because they're barely on the internet, that's why. No, they have to find friend codes to do it.
Yeah.
They have to friend code everybody.
But yeah, Steam definitely. But this goes beyond just video games. This applies to any digital platform that collects data.
So Netflix were probably associated with this too.
Yes.
All right. So we'll keep an eye on that as that evolves.
Right.
And lastly, in video game news, we move over to South Korea, who's been in the news for all sorts of reasons.
Now, we previously covered how South Korea had a raid and worked with Blizzard in cracking down on hackers and cheaters.
Well, guess what? We have a resolution of sorts to that story. That Overwatch raid has resulted in a 2-year probation for one hacker, while another had to pay $10,000. It's the first official ruling against the 13 suspects, and 11 more cases are currently under investigation by the South Korean prosecutor's office. The maximum punishment for those involved is 2 years in jail and an $18,000 fine.
However, that may sound like a lot, but if you do the conversion, it's a $1 million or 1 million won. The won. 1 million won.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So don't hack major video game publishers' stuff, man.
Major video game publisher stuff.
So this is just those hackers. I mean, they're getting what they bargained for.
Well, so it's probation from. So that probation may sound weird.
Yeah. But
it's mainly targeted at internet cafes and for him to not go online to the Overwatch.
Because contrary to how American gamers play, yes, in South Korea it's very common for people not to have a great internet connection at home, and yet a great one at their local internet cafe where they typically play. It's very common.
Right. So that probation is just it. It's a probation. Yeah. However, should he violate that within 2 years, then he automatically goes to jail and has to pay those fines.
Got it. Okay.
And this is just like we said, the first step in this crackdown. Well, they already started cracking down. They still continue to crack down, but the first step in any actual punishment being as a result of this.
Yeah.
So South Korea is a really big gaming, not just with Overwatch, but with like StarCraft and Dota and MOBAs and League.
Lots. Yeah.
Oh, that's the other part about this that I didn't include in the notes. But some South Korean players in the Overwatch League that's currently taking place have been cracked down for cheating as well. One person is currently serving a 30-day suspension.
Oh, jeez.
For boosting their performance, and another one had to pay a fine of $50,000 for boosting.
Wow.
Yeah. As in addition to the following game suspension.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll have more, I'm sure, on that story as it kind of continues there. And that will do it for video game news. But before we wrap up video games, we have a couple of games to talk about. You have been continuing playing God of War.
Yes, we have been continuing to stream God of War. Yes. I have yet to take that game off streaming.
Yeah.
Whenever I jump on that thing, I still stream it.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. We've opened it up. We're going to other realms, which is great. We're getting more lore-based, talking about more boy stuff, and getting more stories from a talking head.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a really great game. Definitely one I'm really glad I bought, and I'm going to be investing pretty much all my time into this thing until Detroit Become Human comes out at the end of the month.
But until then, I'm also playing another video game.
Yes.
I'm playing some Kirby Star Allies on Switch. That is the new Kirby game that came out last month. I'm just catching up with that release. So I feel like I'm probably about 3/4 through the single player story mode. There are other modes and mini games I have yet to try out. I'm going to try to finish the story player mode before I whip up a thoughts post for you guys on MediaBoatPodcast.com. But yeah, so far it's a Kirby game. So if you've played a Kirby game before, you know exactly to expect. It's a platformer. It's cute. Kirby teams up with his friends this time. And a lot of the cool moments of this game are about the things you can do with your AI or real-life partners. So yeah, you can like form a ball and roll really fast. You can form a bridge so that way a non-player character can walk across the bridge and unlock a door for you. Stuff like that. And like they can help you out with like combining powers. So say you need, not only do you need to hit a hammer switch, but the hammer switch is also encased in ice. What do? You hold up your hammer so that way your fire buddy can light the hammer on fire, giving you a flaming hammer. So that way then you can get...
You're a lot of fun with all the friend powers.
They're so cute. And that's the thing, is that this game is super adorable. I definitely have a weakness for Kirby games, partially because of how dang cute they are. And man, this one is definitely cute. So if you like Kirby games, if this sounds like the perfect antidote to our political and the dark world we live in right now.
If you're looking for a little pink ball of sunshine.
Well, pick up Kirby Star Allies for Switch. It's very, very fun. I don't know how much, maybe don't buy it, maybe rent it if you can, maybe borrow a friend's copy. I don't know how much like there is like longevity here. It's a Kirby game, so it's fairly easy, and there's not a whole lot of stuff to go back and get, even though there are the occasional like, oh, I'll come back with this power to do this. But it's not really that much about backtracking. It's a very simple, easy game. But if you like that kind of thing, this is for you. So yeah, check out Kirby Star Allies. I'll be playing a little bit more of that. Maybe put some thoughts up for you guys.
Okay.
That's all I've done.
I have continued to play Marvel on my phone.
Yeah.
Marvel Strike Force on my phone. I have played, according to the game, 33 days straight of logging into
That's a lot. It's a lot of days.
Yes, I've unlocked...
It's a full month.
Yes, that's how that goes. That's how I know I've played 33 days, because they have a month calendar going on it, and I have logged in. It says, you've logged in consecutive days. And it's...
Why do you do this to yourself?
Well, one, I can get all the quests done that I need in like half an hour.
Okay.
Tops, like 15 minutes at like if I'm going fast with it. Because the only thing I have to wait for is like a 6-minute cooldown time, so I don't have to spend points. But everything else is basically I'm running on autopilot at this point.
Yeah.
But I have so much still to unlock and build up in order to continue the story, to where it's kind of worth it. I mean, it's a free game.
Yeah.
And for me to spend 15 minutes of my day to go through like just the basic quest challenges, it's worth it. The commercial is still playing. I'm still enjoying it. It's still worth it. I mean, this game's got some longevity to it. There's still stuff I have yet to unlock, and there's still stuff that the game is yet to unlock because they're still working on it. There's still more stuff that the game will be built up as a part of it, as attachment, as DLC, not DLC,
but content and content updates.
Yeah,
sure, yeah. That's kind of the norm. Oh, this way it wasn't really. I should probably mention this real briefly. We didn't address it in the news, but we should bring it up. Speaking of mobile games, Nintendo, I guess, had a one of their financial calls where they talked about kind of the performance of things. They apparently are disappointed in the numbers that their mobile games have done, and want to still, but they're not giving up on them. In fact, they're doubling down. They want their mobile division to make $900 million over the course of 2018.
Okay.
Because that's basically where they want it to be.
So $1 billion
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's where they want it to be. I'm like, wow, that's really ridiculous number there.
Yeah.
They're disappointed with how much is done so far. They're saying that they haven't made the money that they thought they were going to be. However, they did say something interesting also about that. They said that they credit their mobile offerings for their success in smaller countries, saying that they wouldn't have sold so many Switches internationally if it wasn't for basically the mobile games being a Trojan horse for their IP.
Oh, like
people got more excited for Mario Odyssey because of Mario Run, was the argument.
Right, people play
in smaller countries.
Right, people play Animal Crossing New Leaf, pick up Animal Crossing. And
So even though they said generally that the mobile stuff has been a disappointment, they still credit it for getting them into markets that they wouldn't have necessarily been as successful in. So it's interesting to see kind of different shades of that mobile thing, where some people have big successes in them, and then some people just don't.
Yep, and then just for a brief reminder, Nintendo will be doing a Treehouse event beginning of next month, which is of course right before E3.
Oh God, are we a month out from E3 already?
We're a month out from E3.
Oh, I'm not ready. Alright, well, we'll talk about that when it gets closer. As for now, that does it for video games, and that does it for the Media Boat Podcast. So here's when the plugs happen.
Alright, take a deep breath. Let's see how well you can plug us.
Alright, first up, if you want to see our podcast live like you are, hopefully, right now, we're on YouTube. Search YouTube for Media Boat Podcast, and you'll find our channel. We are live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, right here on our YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe and find out when we go live as soon as we do, you can click on that little bell and it'll give you a little notification when we go live. That's pretty cool. We're also in audio form if you want to hear us and not see us. You can find our podcast on venues such as Apple Podcasts, as well as podcatchers all over. As long as they run on RSS feeds, you can get our RSS feed and plug it in. You can also find our writing on MediaBoatPodcast.com. This is where we post features, stories, our thoughts about things we've seen, listened to, played, or watched. Or seen. That watched and seen are kind of the same thing, but you know what I mean. If that's not enough for you, you can also catch us on social media. We're on Twitter at MediaBoatCast. We're on Facebook. Search Media Boat Podcast. Find our page. We are also on Twitch.tv when we stream video games, like right now, our series ongoing about God of War. You can also find us on Patreon.com/MediaBoat, where you can help us out with money. You got money to spare? Are you one of those people who can afford that $1 million ticket? Well, hey, don't spend your $1 million on the ticket. Spend your $1 million on us. That would be great. Because if you donate to us, we can make our content even better for you and make exclusive content just for you people who are patrons of us. You can donate as little as $1, just $1 a month. So you don't even have to be a millionaire to help us. As little as $1 a month will still be enough to help us out. So please, if you can, help us out. Throw $1 our way. We appreciate it. And that will do it. So we will see you guys next Wednesday on the Media Boat Podcast. Have a good week.
Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next week with more news and updates and thoughts for you. All sorts of things. All right. Thank you all for tuning in, listening to us.
Bye.
We'll see you all next week. Okay. Bye.
Good boy.
YouTube After Show, which we have been keeping up to date. We somehow fixed the streaming problem that we had, I guess. I don't know what that glitch was like 2 weeks ago. But I can safely say the stream is working well. We keep up with the chat. So if you want to chat with us live, 8 o'clock every Wednesday, we watch the chat. We chat with you. We respond to you. You can chat with us. It's a great way to interact. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next week. All right. Bye.
Bye.